Downhill racing is the most fast-paced and exciting form of mountain biking out there. You get one shot to leave it all on the track, and on top of that, it's usually on some of the steepest, techiest trails in the world. Now, I've been wanting to race at the Sea Otter Classic for the last couple years now, and a few weeks ago, I finally got to make that dream a reality. But you all know I can't do that without a little bit of a catch. So instead of lugging my enduro bike or downhill bike out to the course, this year I raced it on my trusty trail bike, the Polygon Siskiu T9. So the question had to be begged, can I race DH downhill on a trail bike? Now in this video, we'll go over my race, prep, and practice, more about the bike and how I set it up for race day, and of course, the race itself, which didn't lack in its fair share of drama. So without further ado, let's head out and see my first practice lap. Yeah, I know, it's my first time down, so. Okay, thank you, thanks. All right, so I need to really work on that top section. Phew. All right. Okay, you weren't kidding about this hill. Where we go, but whew. Gosh. Ooh, not good. Oh, okay, I need a lot more pump for that. So I need to like send that bigger. Whew. Okay. Oh my gosh, I didn't have any time to talk at all. That was not great practice, but at least I got one lap in. As you probably already noticed, the Sea Otter downhill course is a little bit different than what you might expect for your average DH course. Instead of roots and rocks, it has berms and doubles. And that's one of the reasons why I chose to bring the Siskiu T9. This bike is impressively capable for its travel numbers, but it's still poppy and efficient enough for a pedally track like the one at Sea Otter. I have my T9 set up as a mullet with a 29er up front and a 27.5 party in the back. This is supposed to balance maneuverability with stability, and for the most part, I'd say that it did the job. I also put on some fast rolling tires that I hoped would help me carry speed through the sandy rhythm sections and flat out sections of single track. Speaking of the rhythm sections, finding a fast line through those was by far the trickiest part of the whole thing. Me and a couple of the riders at the top, waiting to drop, talked about how it's easy to ride, but hard to ride fast. But thankfully for me, my friend Miranda from BikesOnline Racing makes riding fast look second nature. So I was happy to have time to pick her brain before heading out on my second practice lap. It's my lucky day because I found an actual real racer. This is Miranda with BikesOnline Racing, and she's actually gonna give me some tips on the DH course because it's a little funky, and like I was telling Miranda, I'm having some trouble with some of the rhythm sections and just like how to look at this course. What do I need to do? What do you recommend? So I'd love to hear from you. Like, what do you think I need to focus on, or like how should I be tackling this?
Yeah, so it's not your typical DH course. Okay, There's just a lot more flow, not a lot of tech. And really you have to focus on just carrying your speed as much as you can.
Yeah.
There's a couple flat sections, and so you want to make sure that as you're coming into those flat sections, you're either on the pedals, or if you see some rollers, you're just trying to pump the downside as much as you can.
Okay.
In the top, you have some doubles and maybe a couple other roller sections, and it's really just focusing on carrying your speed, staying tucked, and you know, just trying to stay on the pedals as much as you can. don't use your brakes if you don't have to.
Yeah.
If you're coming into a corner, brake before the corner, and just try and carry as much speed out as you can.
Okay. And when you're thinking about, like, because there's so many of those little rhythm rolling sections, what do you think about when you're like, should I double this? Should I triple this? Should I just totally pump this? Like, what are what kind of things are you looking for in that?
If you have to really pull for those doubles, then you may be spending more time in the air than if you were to just pump through it.
Okay.
So when you are trying to pump through, really exaggerate your movements.
Okay.
And see if you feel like you're still getting like your tires kind of off and you're not in that rhythm.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to try and pull for it. And if you feel comfortable and you're landing on the backside, that's still going to give you a good pump through to the next section.
Yeah. Okay, sick. I have practice this afternoon, and honestly, I'm definitely going to put some of that into it, and hopefully that'll help with. It didn't feel great the first time, so thank you, Miranda. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of
and
course.
You'll be out there?
Yep, we'll be out there.
I might have to get some footage of that too on the way down. So, okay, sick. Thank you.
Of course.
So with those helpful tips from Miranda, I was ready to take on the second practice session. That was when I found I had a broken front wheel. Well, small problem. Listen close and look close. I don't know when this happened. Marley doesn't know when it happened, but we got issues, people. That is just a leak, not a slow leak particularly. In fact, a very fast leak in my whole wheel. I don't know if I did that yesterday during practice and just didn't notice, but time for problem solving. You can even see it. Well, we tried resealing it just in case. We're really confused if somebody hit it, like it's just been sitting here, or somebody like backed into it and not dented it, because
I rode this bike this morning. I rode this bike into this car. We drove here and now it won't hold air.
And I rode it in practice yesterday. It's not like this was
something actually got damaged. Like the sealant is leaking again.
super bizarre. Marley, this is so bizarre. So I may or may not be racing tomorrow. I am not practicing today, which makes me feel very nervous to race tomorrow, but I might still do it if we change out a wheel. If anybody has any 29-inch wheels, that's Sea Otter. Actually, no, probably a lot of people. So after looking high and low, far and wide for a wheel I could borrow at Sea Otter, without having to fork up the cash to buy a new front wheel, I threw a tube in there and decided to carry on riding with a severely dented rim. Was it a smart choice? Probably not. But did it keep the Sea Otter racing dreams alive? Absolutely. Unfortunately, however, I did waste an entire practice session trying to figure this snafu out, which meant my last chance to practice would be immediately before the race. But I was determined not to let this stop me, so I put out all I could for those few practice laps right before the race, trying to balance not getting too gassed right before I dropped.
All right, how we feeling?
We are feeling okay.
Are we feeling like Marley? Marley's not feeling it.
She's not that happy. We're feeling pretty good. I feel like a little bit nervous just because I wasn't able to get to practice yesterday because we had a dented rim, so that was super fun. But we problem solved, and I think there's an hour and a half of practice today I'm eager to do, and then race.
All right, well, I'm gonna take care of this baby, see you at practice.
Okay, so come. Pedal. Oh shoot. Let's slow down. Woo! Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay. Whew. Okay. At this point, I was feeling a little bit better after getting a couple more laps in and seeing myself progress each time. Now, for those of you who've been following along on the Bikes Online channel, you might know that I had a baby a few months ago, and this is my first race back. So that in itself had all these nerves coming in it, and I really just wanted to prove to myself that I could get back on the bike, and I did just that. So if nothing less, those last practice laps really took away the nerves for me, and at that point I said, it is what it is, let's get out there and let's get racing. Watch out. And right about there was race drama number 2, when my GoPro decided to die right before I dropped in for the race run. So instead, I'll share a few pieces of how it went. I'll say right off the bat, it was my best run yet. Now that might not be saying much since I only got a few practice runs in, but it felt good just to be there, to be pushing. You know I'm pushing my limits when I'm starting to get a little hairy in the corners. Dropping in immediately, there was so much energy at the top. There's a few tables and I felt like I did my best yet, clearing most of those and coming around fast through the first berm section. After that, I felt the T9 really excel when we just started having some steep straightaways that were not super techy, but just fast, and you needed some pedaling. There's one section where you come up a hill and you really have to put down the pedals. I pedaled hard, and it was the first time that I didn't completely come to a stop before getting to the top, which was awesome. After that were a couple of those dreaded rhythm sections. Now that is not my specialty. I am more of a crank through powerhouse, just smash everything that you can see in sight, which honestly the T9 does really well. But at this point I had to put in a little bit more effort and rhythm. Again, I do feel like it was my best lap yet, and that felt really good to get down, but I could absolutely make up some more time in some of those rhythms and just spending some more time actually figuring out what the fastest line is through those. There were a couple sections near the bottom where I felt like maybe a little longer travel would have been nice, but for the most part, the trail bike was really the perfect bike to race this track. So the question we started with, can I race DH on my trail bike? The answer, in short, was yes. Now, again, that was one specific DH course. It'd be fun to try this on something that felt a little techier, a little gnarlier, but honestly, I took this trail bike to the bike park. I feel like it could totally hold its own in any of those situations. At the end of the day, I took 8th place out of about 15 racers, which is what I kind of estimated. I felt like if I get middle of the pack and get a time under 3 minutes, which I was about 2:49, I think was my ultimate time. I think the winner was 2:30 something. So it felt pretty good just to kind of get there. Again, after coming back from having a baby and getting back on the bike, winter in Oregon, it felt like a pretty solid race results. I even got to ride with a couple of my buddies who both did better than me, and I was so proud of them. One got 3rd place in podium, the other was just a few before me, and that felt so fun to go out together and do that. So if you're interested in more of these kind of videos, the race videos, there's an awesome race series that happens at my local bike park. I could try a few different bikes out and see. Now I'm gonna call the limit at gravel bike. I'm not gonna take the gravel bike down the DH course. I'm just gonna say that right now. But if you wanna see more of that, drop a comment below where I'll be hanging out while you're down there. Like and subscribe to Bikes Online channel. And after you've done that, get out there, grab your trusty bike, and get ripping.